Hi, this is Michelle Larson, your college funding expert and wealth architect. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes to tune into this very short webinar that will outline our process. If you're seeing this webinar, you've clearly scheduled an appointment with me, and I want you to know that I'm very much looking forward to meeting with you. It's funny though, I've been doing this for several years, and I meet with families either in person or via webinar, and I talk to them and I say, what is it that you think I do? And about half the people have no clue. So sometimes one spouse has more clue than the other spouse, and sometimes they just have no idea what it is I do. So I thought, why don't I record a short video, show you what it is I do, make sure that we're on the same page before you even come in to see me. That way we can both save some time. So thank you for tuning in. This should give you a good understanding of what it is that I do, how it is that I do, and if at the end you still think that this will provide a useful service for you, I look forward to meeting you then. Let's get started. So here is my process. First of all, we're going to have, and this is the meeting that you've scheduled, we're going to have what I like to call our discovery meeting. During that meeting, we're going to talk about what are your goals and outcomes. What are you hoping to get from me? What kind of information do you want? What kind of guidance can I provide? So this is where I start. Then, of course, we look at, can we lower your out-of-pocket costs? Again, I try to do that. Most of the time I can do that a little bit. Sometimes I can't. But we look at that, and I tell you right up front whether or not I can lower those. And then we look at, what are the other things that I can do? How else can I help? Then we have a present position meeting. If you've scheduled an appointment with me, it is likely that you've watched the video. Remember, I talked about how important it is that we cannot pay for college in a vacuum. We're going to look at your present position, make sure you're on track for the type of the type of retirement that you'd like to have. And that's our present position meeting. The next meeting or two, sometimes this is 2 meetings, is what I like to call finding the money. We look at those major areas of wealth transfers. I do an in-depth analysis for you. I come back to you and say, here's the found money that I have found for you. And then we look at college funding solutions. Once we have the money, well, where do you want to put it? And we analyze that. At the end of the day, what I want you to understand is I have my ideas, but at the end of the day, it's your money. So my job is one of education. I want to make sure you're fully educated on your options. As I mentioned, I do have what I think is the best solution, what I'm personally doing for my family, but at the end of the day, it's your money and you get to decide what to do with it. And finally, I have student meetings. The reason I put this on here in this direction is that oftentimes parents come in to meet with me and say, well, can you help me get into UF? Or what is Vanderbilt's college admission process? This is not what I do. Yes, it is important. I do meet with your students. There are some things that we can do. I show your student how to become a wanted student, and that is a critical piece to what I do. But I want you to have the understanding that it is only a piece of what I do. I primarily work on the financial side of things. So I just want you to have that clear understanding up front. So let's look at this discovery meeting. We're going to talk about your goals, and what's fascinating about this is that for some couples, this is the first time they've really had an in-depth conversation about college funding, about retirement planning, really about what their goals are, what they'd like to do. So it's kind of a fun appointment for both of you. This is the appointment that you've scheduled. Once we're done with that, I send you a 30-page workbook outlining your goals and fully explaining what we do and why we do it. So you have this as a reference for yourself, whether or not we decide to work together. Then we talk about how taxes, inflation, and opportunity costs all play a role in depleting your assets when paying for college improperly. I want you to, again, my role is one of education. I want you to fully understand this. And then finally, during this meeting, we're going to decide whether it makes sense for you and I to work together. From my standpoint, I'll be upfront and honest with you. My kind of, in my mind, idea is that we do charge a tuition. If I don't think I can save you 10 times that tuition, then I let you know that. And If I do think that I can save you at least 10 times that tuition, then I do invite you to become a client. But this is what this meeting is about. Does it make sense for us to work together? Should you decide to move forward, we then have our present position meeting. So here's what our present position meeting is going to look like. Here's Mr. and Mrs. College. They have household income of $195,000. They have accumulated savings, and this is all their savings, retirement, a mutual fund, college fund, all of their savings in the neighborhood of $500,000. They save approximately $20,000 a year. They told me they thought that their savings were earning around 7%. They thought at retirement their savings would earn around 4%, and we all agreed that a 3% rate of inflation was a very conservative inflation rate. It could be higher, but we picked 3%. They have 2 children. One will start college when dad is 49, and one will start college when dad is 52. They're going to pay $22,000 and $25,000 respectively, and both be in school for 4 years. So when we look at this, what I want you to understand is this is the typical family with whom I work. Here's before we take out, so I run this 2 ways. Before we take out college costs, here's what their current retirement situation looks like. So what this shows is if dad retires at age 65, they will have accumulated $2.5 million based on the inputs that I just showed you. They'll have $2.5 million. Sounds like a lot of money, and it is actually a lot of money. What I want people to understand is that due to inflation, if they would like to maintain their lifestyle, instead of $195,000, in order to maintain their lifestyle, they will actually need $297,000. If they maintain their lifestyle at that level, they will run out of money. This is before college costs at age 74. I know what you're likely thinking. There's no way I'm going to need $300,000 in my retirement. That's just crazy talk. So the other piece that I show them several others, but the other piece that I'm going to show you today is we look at, all right, what kind of money could we spend so that our retirement savings last through life expectancy. For this particular family, that $2.5 million they're only going to be able to spend what would feel like $83,000 today. That's in today's dollars, $83,000. Or they will need to take a 52% reduction in their lifestyle. My question to my clients and my question to you will be, if in working together we can make this picture better, is it worth having a conversation? That's what I do. Again, first is education. This is where you're headed. If I can help you make this picture better, is it worth having a conversation with me? Then we look at, now this is the critical piece. Now we're going to look at what happens if we take out college costs. So we're going to assume that for this family, they will have college costs of $200,000. Now, instead of having $2.5 million at retirement, they're going to have $2.1 million. So double what college costs them. Now, instead of running out of money at age 74, they're running out of money at age 72. If they want to have their money last through life expectancy, they'll need to take a 61% reduction in lifestyle. Or instead of $83,000, they'll have $67,000 in today's money. So does that make sense to you? Can you see why if you pay for college in a vacuum, it really can have dramatic results on what's left for you in retirement? This is why nobody explains this to people. This is why people are having difficulty in retirement, because they don't pay for college correctly. This is what I do. This is what I help you with. So this is our present position appointment, if you will. The next appointment that we have is the finding the money. And again, I'm going to assume that you were on the webinar. You understand that I talked about wealth transfers, and we are going to we're going to do an in-depth analysis to reveal savings. Again, for this family, they are good savers. I was able to find almost $28,000 for this particular family. Now, with that being said, I don't want you to come to me thinking, oh, Michelle, you're promising that you can find $27,000. I am not. I typically find between $12,000 and $15,000. So I want you to know that every family is different. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do the analysis for you. I do not want you to come in and meet with me and think that I'm going to find you $27,000. Sometimes I can. Sometimes I can do more. It's likely that it'll be between $12,000 and $15,000 though. So I just want to be clear about that. So once we find the money, what I ask is, okay, we found $27,000 approximately. Now where do you want to put it? If we find this money, if I show you how to find this money and you don't save it, or you don't save the most of it, I have done you a disservice. So my goal is that we save most of this money. At the end of the day, like I said, it's your money. So you get to tell me, here's where I want to put it. If you want to put it in a 529 plan, I can refer you to people that have those. I don't do 529 plans, but there are people out there that do them. We talked about that, though, during the webinar. If you have it, it interrupts compounding. It's not safe. Your money, you can lose money. You can only use it for qualified college expenses. However, where my recommendation would be, where I would recommend that you put this money, is in what I like to call the Personal Protected College Savings Plan. And I'm going to show you an example of this. So here is an illustration of a real client that I've worked with. So here's what I want you to see. And I know this is hard to read, but basically this family put in for 10 years total deposits of $200,000. Understand that. Then in year 3, they started to take out $15,000. Now remember, their college costs were a little higher, but this particular family had some college savings already, and we determined that they would need an additional $15,000. This is not your personal protected college savings plan. This is this client's personal protected college savings plan. So understand that there is a difference. But basically, they took out $15,000 a year for 8 years, or total withdrawals of $120,000. They did nothing else. Now, what I have told them and what I will tell you is that I want you to pay this back if you can. If you cannot pay it back, I'm showing you what happens if you cannot pay it back. But I'm going to encourage you, I'm going to support you in paying yourself back. Basically, you're your own bank. You've borrowed this money from yourself. I'm going to encourage you to pay it back, but no one is asking you to pay it back. You'll never get a bill saying pay this money back. We're going to look at what happens if they don't pay it back. If they don't pay it back, they are going to be able to have tax-free lifetime income at age 71 of $71,429. That is tax-free income. Just by switching things around a little bit and putting their money where it does not interrupt compounding. My purpose today is not to fully explain this. I just want to give you an idea of this is what I do. This is what I show people. This is why I'm excited and why I think everyone should have a personal protected college savings plan. Because it's not just for college. Look what it can do for retirement. Do you think they can benefit from an additional $71,000 in tax-free money during retirement? You bet. You bet they can. So this is what I do. Then once we have all of the finances kind of set up, we have an idea of where we're going, we know what we need to do, then I have student meetings. And again, I don't want you to hear that they're not important, because they are important. I've actually found someone that is an expert in student coaching, and she's going to be meeting with your student. And we do several things. We'll meet with each child, each of your children, at least twice. Sometimes we do 3 times, but I want you to know we meet with them at least twice. We typically start these meetings in sophomore year. I know I do have some middle school parents that come in to see me. Please understand the student meetings don't start till sophomore year of high school. I give students tips and tricks on picking the right school, applying for scholarships, and becoming a wanted student. That's basically what we talk about. And then I also, just FYI, I also offer an in-depth assessment to guide your student in the choice of major and career. So please understand, I do offer that assessment. It is a separate thing that I do, but it is available to you. Finally, in the senior year, and again, we're going to be talking throughout this time, but in the senior year, you're going to come back for 2 meetings with your student. The first meeting is we're going to review your 8 award letters. We're going to look at them all. It's confusing. We're going to find out, what are they offering? What are the 8 award letters actually saying? How much of this is a loan? How much of this is free money? Can we get more money? We're going to have that in-depth review. And then finally, we're going to create your financial plan to pay for college. Again, it's critical that you have this. And I provide also several different kinds of reports that are really relevant in junior, senior year. We do the college cost comparison report. I do a 2-page info sheet on all the colleges that you're thinking about, or your student is thinking about attending. So there's quite a bit of reporting that I give you as well. But I just wanted you to have a clear understanding. This is what it is that I do. And I hope that makes sense to you. It certainly makes sense to me. And I look forward to meeting with you at your discovery meeting. If you have any questions or concerns, you can certainly respond to this email, or please feel free to call my office. That number is 904-625-0299. But I look forward to working with you and providing you the guidance that you need. Thank you so much.